Welcome to Tools, Tech, and Gear. I'm Seth. Thrunite is a flashlight company that I've used for several years now. They have sent me their T1S model in the black color. Let's go ahead and open up the box, see what the features are, and then take it outside to see how well this performs out in the dark. This is the T1S model. It comes in a tiny little box. It is packaged well with this foam. Got some instructions. And then one thing I've noticed is they've improved the charging cable from a USB mini to a USB-C, which is nice. I definitely appreciate that. All right, so here is the tiny light. It is about 2.5 inches long and a little bit more than a 1/2 inch on this end, maybe 3/4 inch on this end. In this little baggie, there's going to be a lanyard and then also a couple of extra O-rings and also a charging port cover. Looks like they've included 2 of them this time, which is nice in case you pull those off and need to have a replacement. I've never really used the lanyard or wrist strap here, but it's pretty easy to install. You just find the hole here on this end of the flashlight, push this in, and then you just simply stick the other end back around and it will lock it into place. So keep those in your little bag so you can keep track of them for later. Like I said before, it has a USB-C charging cord, USB on this end, and we'll go over the charging states here in just a moment. But it's nice to have the included cable to charge. It also has a belt clip, which you may also be able to use this as a hat clip because it's got the double. There it goes. Okay, yeah, so you can either clip it around your hat or just clip it around a belt. So let's go ahead and install that. Just push this down right here. Yeah, a good solid snap. You can turn that to whichever side you need to. But that is making a really solid connection. I like that. Yeah, it's not going anywhere. Now let's take a close-up look at the light itself. The instruction booklet does say that you need to tighten this down before first use, so we'll do that. But it has a single button right here, which is a little bit hard to find in the dark, I have found over the years, because it is the same feel as the charging port on this side. So just one thing to consider. It is mirrored in here and has a single LED. So yeah, to open up the charging port, you're going to pull back this way, and you can see right there, that's where it will charge. Let's go ahead and keep that closed so it will maintain its waterproof rating, because we are going to be testing that here in just a moment. Nice clip placement. It only goes in one direction, so you can push this down into your pocket or put it on your hat. There is no back open, which is fine. So it just opens here on the front. And that's where your single O-ring is going to be. The battery, it is a 1100 milliamp hour, and this is a 18350 model, 3.7 volt. All right, let's go ahead and make sure we tighten this down all the way. I think that is good. Now, let's go ahead and push the on button here. There is the lowest setting. If we hold that down, it will ramp up and then back down. Now, if we turn that off and we hold it on, it will enter into the lowest mode, which is really hard to see there, but that is called the Firefly. It's awesome for reading inside of a tent, or if you have to save battery life, you can use that for a very long time. We'll get into that information as well. Now this is turbo mode. If you double click, so it's off now, double click, you can kind of see it ramp up there again. We'll go outside and test that out, and then we'll go through the other modes as well. So this is also magnetic on one side, so we'll test that out here, being able to support itself. And it also has a drop resistance of 1.5 meters, so we'll test that out as well. Okay, I've got the light turned on here. There is a metal clip here on my studio light, and you can see it hangs no problem from that, and it seems to have enough power that it's not going to be falling off on its own, so that is nice. So the magnet works fine. I'm going to read the specs on this light real quick, but while I'm doing that, we're going to drop the light into some water. So I've made sure the cap is on well. Let's turn that on. Oops. All right, so while that is soaking up some good H2O, let's open up the little user manual. It's in 4 different languages. So the technical parameters here. This is the T1S. It has an output of 1,212 lumens on the turbo setting, and it'll last for 5 minutes plus 70 minutes when it drops down to 317 lumens for the next step. The high setting is 407 lumens, runs for 80 minutes. That's impressive. The medium, 94 lumens, 5.5 hours. Low, 7 lumens for 44 hours. The Firefly mode, which is that just tiny little reading light, is going to be 0.5 lumens for 27 days on that tiny little battery. The strobe, which we haven't accessed yet, is 1,080 lumens for 157 minutes. The distance it can be seen is a max of 184 meters. How are we doing in there, dude? Pretty good. Okay, the intensity is 8,460 CD max. I'm not really sure what the intensity rating is. Impact resistance, 1.5 meters. Waterproof, IPX8 at 2 meters. And it's got some charging stuff there as well. So the working voltage, 2.7 volts to 4.2 volts. And 41.5 grams, including the battery. Cool. All right. Well, as you can see, the light has done fine here in this water. Before I do the drop test, let's go outside into the dark and see how well all the modes perform, and then we will drop this a couple times to make sure it withstands that 1.5 meter drop. So let's head outside and see how well all the settings do. Let me scroll through all the modes real quick while we can still see the flashlight. So if I just press once, the light comes on like normal. If I hold down, it will scroll through the different brightness settings. If I push it again, it will turn off. Now if I hold it down whenever it's off, it will access the Firefly mode. If I hold it down 2 seconds again, it enters into the lock mode. So now nothing happens when I push the button. Hold it down for 2 seconds to turn that back on. Quickly press, and now it is good to go again. So if you are used to pushing the on button while just in your pocket, that long press, let's see, turn it long press, Firefly, long press, lock. So now it won't turn on just by pressing it quickly in your pocket. Long press again, turns it back on to regular. Now to access the turbo or the strobe, you just turn it on, and then if you double click, that's on turbo. You can see that's quite crazy. Turn that off, back on. Triple click will enter the strobe. Oh, wasn't fast enough. There we go. All right, so let's step out here into the dark and test out all these modes in full darkness. As you can see, it's quite dark. So let me go ahead and turn on the light. This is the lowest setting that it has on just regular. So let's go ahead and hold it down. There's your medium, and then high. The playhouse is about 75 feet away, and it is very bright. So let's see if you can see the tiny house over there in the distance also. So back down to the lowest setting. All right, you can see the playhouse, but very poorly. If I drop the light, you can't. So, all right, ramp it up to the medium, and then the high. Now you'll notice if I turn off the light here, it will remember that previous setting. So that's back to the highest setting again. All right, let's access the turbo. Man, that is very bright. You can see how much brighter it is over there at the tiny house than it was before. No, this setting will last for 5 minutes and then drop down to the 317 lumens. But if you have to walk around with this light, I imagine it'll start getting hot here on the battery pretty quick. All right, let's test out the Firefly mode. So I'm going to hold it down for 2 seconds, and now it's on. So let me get really close to the ground here. You can tell that that is on. So as far as distance goes, I mean 5-6 feet tops is how far that's going to go. So let me turn this back to a regular mode. Let's do a strobe now. So let me do 3 clicks. All right, there we go. Yeah, that's terrible. I've stepped over here to my kid's swing set, which is, I'm guessing, about 75 feet away. So you can kind of see how bright the light is facing the camera. So let me scroll back down to the lowest setting, and I'm just angling this directly at the camera. Let me go ahead and ramp this up to the medium. You can see it is a good bit brighter. And then once again, the highest setting. And now let me do the turbo so you can see the difference there. Yeah, it is significantly brighter for sure. And then let me turn it on to Firefly. I think I can see that on the screen there. Yeah, it's very small. All right, and then turn it back to strobe. Oop, wasn't fast enough. Yep, there we go. Okay, cool. All right, so that's what it looks like from about 75 feet away from where you are. I have always been very careful with my gear, and I don't think I've ever dropped a flashlight except for on purpose when testing these, so it hurts me to do this, but it's part of the test. So let's ramp this up to medium setting, and I'm just going to drop this from about where I would hold a flashlight. So it's about 1 meter, so here we go. All right, it is still running. I'm gonna do it one more time, even though it hurts me. So, whoops. All right, there we go. That's our drop test. So we have now tested the dunking in water, only a short amount. It says it'll do, 2 meters. We've dropped it a couple times, seen it from a distance, and we've also tested out that metal, the magnet there. So I think that's all the features of the Thrunite T1S. I did not see a charge time here in the manual. I may just be missing it, but there are a few more little details we can go over. The power capacity, meaning what's left on the battery as you use it, whenever it gets to 0%, shuts off. If it is 1 to 10%, it will flash red on the power button. If it's 11 to 20%, it'll just be on red. And if it's 21 to 100%, it will show blue on that light. Now, whenever you're charging it, the light will be red, and whenever it's full, it will be blue. And if it shows a purple color, it means something's up with charging. Probably just unscrew it, plug it back in, and maybe reseat your cable if something is wrong there. Now, I have used several of the Thrunite flashlights over the years and have had 0 problems with any of them. I've never really contacted the company for warranty stuff because none of them have broken. And I've used them, 6 years or so. So check this out in the link down below and see if it's a flashlight that you're interested in. This is the Thrunite T1S. I'm Seth with Tools, Tech, and Gear, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.